All right, class, welcome back to Mr. Marlowe's online math class. Today we're going to be looking at lesson 6 from module 6, and this is the finding the mean, okay? Our target today is I can find the mean of a data set. And you might be thinking to yourself, what is a mean? What does that mean? Okay. So, our vocabulary for today is just one word, and that word is mean. Mean doesn't mean like grumpy and mean or angry. Mean is the average of the numbers. Okay, it is easy to calculate. Add up all the numbers in a data set, then divide by how many numbers there are. In other words, it is the sum divided by the count. And we're going to get to what that means. So, a mean is just an average, all right? One way I like to remember this, one way I learned in school to remember this, is my mean math teacher gave me a bad average or a bad score, okay? I would never do that to you guys, by the way. Some things to think about today. These are some questions that we're going to just sort of keep in the back of the head while we go through our lesson. If we change one number in the first set, would it change the mean or the average? What if we added another number to the set? Would it change the mean or the average? What if we had a set where all the numbers were the same, like 5, 5, and 5, right? Would that change the mean? What would the mean look like? Is the mean or average always between the minimum and the maximum number in the sets? So to remember, and we learned this from our definition, to find the mean, we're going to add up all the numbers in the set and divide by how many numbers there are. Okay, we're going to do a couple of examples of this, so don't worry. It's 2 steps. We're going to add, then we're going to divide. The only trick is kind of figuring out what we're going to divide by, but let me tell you, it's super easy. So, for this first one, we're going to find the mean of 3, 4, and 8. If we go back to our directions, it says first, we're going to add all the numbers in the set. So let's do that. Here's my set of numbers, 3, 4, and 8. Let's add them up. 3 plus 4 plus 8. And what's 3 plus 4 plus 8? Well, 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. All right, step 1 done. That's not the mean, right? Because what we have to do next is divide by how many numbers there are. Okay, so step 2 is divide by how many numbers there are. So, if this is, I'll mark it, this is going to be step 1. Whoop. Step 1. We added all the numbers, 15. Well, step 2 is going to be to take the result from step 1, and the result from step 1 was 15. All right, and we're going to divide this 15 by how many numbers there are. Well, how many numbers are there? There's 1 number, there's 2 numbers, there's 3 numbers. So step 2 is just dividing this result from step 1 by the amount of numbers that there are. There are 3 numbers, so we're going to divide by 3. And 15 divided by 3, of course, is 5. So the mean, right, or the average of 3, 4, and 8 is equal to 5. Now let's think about some of these conceptual questions real quick that we started off with, right? I asked you, if we changed a number in the first set, would it change the mean? Well, let's think about that for a second. What if I change this number to this 8 to a 10, right? So we had 3, 4, and 10. That would be 17. Step 2, we would still have to divide 17 by 3. And is 17 divided by 3 5? No. what is 17 divided by 3? 17 divided by 3 is roughly 5.7 if we round up, right? So that means our mean would increase. What do you think would happen if we decreased a number? So what if we turned this 8 into a 10? What if we turned it into a 6? Well, then we'd have 3 plus 4 plus 6, right? That'd be 13. Again, we're still dividing by the amount of numbers that we have. So 13 divided by 3, well, that'd be 4.3. So our mean would lower. It would go down. The average would decrease. Well, what if we had a set where all the numbers were the same, like 5, 5, and 5? Well, if we're finding the mean of 5, 5, and 5, that's 5 plus 5, right, plus 5, which is equal to 15. And we're still dividing by 3. And 15 divided by 3 is what? 5, right? So if all our data points are the same, 5, 5, 5, right, and we find the average, well, the average is going to be 5. Okay? Is the mean always between the minimum and the maximum number in the set? Think about that for a second. If I'm finding the average of something, how could the average ever be more than the maximum value data point? It couldn't, right? If I took the average of all the ages of 6th graders, right, between the ages of 10 and 12, right? Some of you might be a little bit on the young side, so you'd be 10. Most of you would be 11, and there would be a few 12-year-olds, especially at the end of the year, right? So if I were to take the average of all the 6th graders, the average ages of all the 6th graders, could I ever end up with 23? No. There's nobody in 6th grade that's 23 years old, I hope, right? So our average would never be, our average or our mean is always going to be between the minimum and the maximum number in the set. Always. It's never going to be more or less. Let's do another example. Find the mean of 12, 7, and 13. Well, remember our first step is to just add up all the numbers. That's all we're doing for this first step. Step 1. Add the numbers. Okay. And let's see, 10 plus 12 is 22. 22 plus 7 is 29. And 29 plus 13 is 42. So if I add those numbers all together, it's 42. This is step 1. Add. I'll do step 1. I'm going to write a word. Add. That's all we're doing. Just adding. Okay. Step 2 is to take the result from step 1, right, and divide. And what was the result we got from step 1? Well, the result was 42. And what do we divide by? We divide by the number of data points. And in this case, there are 4. Okay? And 42 divided by 4, drum roll, is 10.5. You might be asking yourself, Mr. Marlowe, is there a decimal? That's totally okay. Okay? It's okay to have a decimal. The questions that you encounter, they might ask you to round. So if I said round this to the whole number, right, we would round to 11. But this is totally okay. So our mean, a little sloppy. I'm still getting used to writing with a mouse. You guys are going to have to excuse me. Our mean, in this case, is equal to 10.5. All right? Step 1, add. Step 2, divide by the amount of numbers. That's it. So, quick check. I want you guys to do this on your own. Pause the video. What is the mean of 1, 2, and 3? When you have an answer, unpause the video and we'll go over it. Well, the mean of 1, 2, and 3, remember, first step is we add 1, 2, 3, which is equal to 6. And we divide this 6 by the amount of data points, which there were 3. 1, 2, 3. And 6 divided by 3 is that horrible looking 2. There we go. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So our mean, in this case, the mean or the average of 1, 2, and 3 is 2. What is the mean of 5, 5, and 2? Go ahead, pause the video, give it a shot. Okay, I'm assuming you've paused the video and given it a shot. If we're going to find the mean of 5, 5, and 2, first I need to add 5, 5, and 2, which is 12. Then I'm going to take that 12 and divide. What do I want to do here? I want to take that 12 and divide by the amount of data points. And remember, there are 1, 2, 3. And 12 divided by 4. Oh, I'm sorry. I goofed. Oh, Mr. Marlowe. I said 3 and I wrote a 4. Oh my gosh. How many data points are there? There are 1, 2, 3. So it's 12 divided by 3. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. So the mean or average of 5, 5, and 2 is 4. Wrapping it up, the mean is the average or balance point of a set of data. And the mean is one way to describe the center of data. If we're talking about a center, we're talking about the mean or the average. And what I showed you today is how to find that mean or average. Okay. Remember, this was lesson 6, finding the mean, and our target today was I can find the mean of a set of data, which I think we did quite well. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I am here to answer your questions day or night. You can email me, reach out to me on Remind, or get a hold of me during our morning crew or my office hours. Thank you. Have a great day.